Chapter 1: A Quiet Town. Detective Mark Brown lived in a small town. The town was quiet most of the time. People knew each other and life was slow. Mark liked this. He was not a young man, but he was strong and clever. He worked for the police and he loved solving problems. One morning, Mark sat in his office. His office was small, with a wooden desk, 2 chairs, and many papers. On the wall, there was a big map of the town. Mark was drinking coffee and reading the newspaper. The news was normal: a football game, a new shop, and the weather. Nothing special. Then the phone rang. "Detective Brown," Mark said. "Good morning, Detective," said the voice. It was Mr. Green, a rich man in the town. He was famous because he had a big house, many cars, and a lot of money. "My wife and I are giving a dinner party tonight. Many important people will come. I want you to join us. It will be a safe evening if you are there." Mark was surprised. He was not used to parties. But he knew Mr. Green liked to show his money. "All right," said Mark. "I will come." That evening, Mark put on a clean suit and walked to the greenhouse. The house was very large, with white walls, tall windows, and a beautiful garden. Lights shone from every room. Cars were parked outside. At the door, Mrs. Green greeted him. She was a tall woman with bright eyes. Around her neck was a diamond necklace. It was big and shining. Everyone looked at it. "Good evening, Detective," she said. "Please enjoy our party." Inside, the dining room was full of people. There was music, food, and wine. Mark saw many faces. Anna White, a young woman who worked at a cafe. Tonight, she was helping to serve food. She smiled politely at everyone. Tom Black, the gardener. He wore clean clothes but looked nervous. Lisa Gray, Anna's friend. She wore a red dress and talked loudly. People ate, drank, and laughed. Mrs. Green walked around the room, always touching her necklace. She loved it. Mr. Green told stories about his travels. Mark sat near the window. He watched the people carefully. He always did this at parties. He liked to see how people behaved. Hours passed. The night was almost finished. But something would soon happen that nobody expected. Chapter 2: The Necklace is Missing. The dinner was almost over. People were happy. Glasses were full, and the table was covered with food. Mrs. Green stood up. "Thank you, friends," she said. "This night is special. I am lucky to have good people around me." She touched her diamond necklace and smiled. "And I am lucky to have this gift from my husband." Everyone clapped. Detective Mark Brown watched her carefully. He thought, "She really loves that necklace. It must be very expensive." After dinner, people went to the living room. Music played. Some guests danced, others talked in groups. Anna White carried plates to the kitchen. Lisa Gray followed her, talking quickly. Tom Black stayed near the garden door, looking uncomfortable. Mark walked around the house. He checked the windows and doors as he always did. Everything looked safe. Then a scream came from the living room. "Help, my necklace! It is gone!" It was Mrs. Green. She was standing in the middle of the room, her hands on her neck. The diamond necklace was not there anymore. Everyone ran to her. "What happened?" asked Mr. Green, very pale. "I don't know," cried Mrs. Green. "I was talking with Mrs. Brown, and then I touched my neck. The necklace is gone. It was here just a moment ago." People started to talk loudly. Some were shocked, some were angry, and some looked afraid. Detective Mark raised his hand. "Please, everyone calm down," he said. His voice was strong. "Nobody leaves this house until we find the truth." He looked around the room. "This is now a crime scene." Mark asked Mrs. Green, "When did you last see the necklace?" "Just a minute ago," she said. "I was laughing, and I touched it. Then it was not there." Mark studied the carpet, the chairs, and the tables. Nothing. No necklace. He called Anna. "Did you see anything?" Anna shook her head. "No, detective. I was in the kitchen." Her voice was quiet, but her eyes looked honest. Then he asked Lisa, "You were also in the kitchen, yes?" "Yes," Lisa said quickly. "I was talking with Anna, but I went back to the living room before her. Maybe she—" "Enough," Mark said. He did not want quick blame. He turned to Tom. "And you? Where were you?" Tom pointed to the door. "I was near the garden. I wanted fresh air, but I did not take anything." Mark looked at him closely. Tom's hands were shaking. Guests whispered to each other. The room was full of tension. Mr. Green shouted, "Whoever took it will pay. That necklace is worth more than a house." Mark raised his voice. "Listen to me. The necklace cannot disappear by magic. It is in this house. I will find it. But I need truth from everyone." He asked the servants to close all doors and windows. Nobody could go outside. The guests sat down. Mark walked slowly around the room. He looked at each face. Fear, anger, surprise, so many emotions. Then he saw something small on the floor. He bent down. It was a silver clasp, broken. It looked like part of the necklace. "This is important," Mark said, holding it up. The necklace was pulled, not dropped. Someone touched it. Mrs. Green gasped. "Pulled? But who would do that?" Mark did not answer. He had to think. He wrote notes in his little book. He wrote, "Anna, in kitchen. Lisa, in kitchen, but returned first. Tom, near garden door, nervous, necklace, pulled, clasp broken. Still inside house." Mark looked at the guests again. "I will speak to each of you one by one. The thief is here." Everyone was silent. Only the clock ticked on the wall. The happy party was finished. A serious night had just begun. Chapter 3. The First Interviews. Detective Mark Brown stood in the middle of the greenhouse living room. The guests sat on chairs and sofas, waiting. Nobody spoke. The air was heavy. Mark said, "I will ask questions. Please answer simply and honestly. One small lie will make things worse for you." He looked at Anna White first. She sat near the window, her hands folded in her lap. "Anna," he said gently, You work at the cafe, yes? Yes, detective, Anna said. Her voice was soft but clear. And tonight, you helped with the food? Yes, I served soup, bread, and wine. After dinner, I carried plates to the kitchen. Did you see the necklace before it disappeared? Yes, it was shining. Everyone saw it. Mark nodded. And in the kitchen, did you stay there the whole time? Anna thought. I washed dishes for a few minutes. Then Lisa came. She talked to me. She said the party was boring. She wanted to go home early. After that, she left the kitchen. I stayed a little longer. Mark wrote notes. Thank you, Anna. Please stay here. Next, Mark turned to Lisa Gray. Lisa looked nervous but tried to smile. She crossed her arms. Lisa, Mark said, you were with Anna in the kitchen. Tell me what you saw. Lisa spoke quickly. Yes, detective. I was bored, so I went to Anna. We talked. Then I went back to the living room. I sat near Mrs. Green for a short time. I saw her laughing with other guests. She touched her necklace. After that, I don't know. Suddenly she screamed. Mark asked, Did you touch the necklace? Lisa's face turned red. No, of course not. Why would I do that? I am Anna's friend. I only came for food and drink. I am not interested in jewelry. Mark studied her. She avoided his eyes. He made another note. Nervous, speaks fast, avoids eye contact. Now it was Tom Black's turn. Tom sat alone near the door. His hands were still shaking. Tom, Mark said calmly, you work here as a gardener, correct? Yes, detective, Tom said. His voice was low. You were near the garden door tonight? Yes, too many people inside. I wanted air. I don't like parties. Did you see anyone go outside? Tom shook his head. No, I stood there the whole time. Mark asked, Did you see Mrs. Green's necklace before it was gone? Tom swallowed hard. Yes, everyone saw it. It was big, shining, but I did not touch it, I swear. Mark leaned closer. Why are your hands shaking? Tom looked down. I am nervous. People think poor workers like me always steal. But I did not. Mark believed he was scared, but fear could mean guilt or just worry. He wrote in his notebook again. Then Mark asked Mr. and Mrs. Green a few questions. Mrs. Green, when did you last feel the necklace? Just before I screamed, she said. I touched it. It was there. Then a minute later, gone. Did anyone stand close to you? Mrs. Green thought. Lisa was near me. Also, another guest, Mrs. Brown. But we were laughing. I did not feel anyone pull it. Mr. Green added, The necklace has strong gold clasps. It cannot fall by itself. Someone must pull it. His face was red with anger. Mark agreed. He showed them the broken clasp he had found. Yes, it was pulled. But I need to know who did it. After speaking to everyone, Mark asked the group, Did anyone see something unusual? A movement, a hand, anything? The guests looked at each other. Nobody spoke. Finally, Anna said quietly, Detective, When I walked back from the kitchen, I saw Lisa sit down next to Mrs. Green. It was only for a short moment, but maybe that is important." Lisa jumped up. "That means nothing. I only wanted to talk." Mark raised his hand. "Sit down, Lisa. Nobody is guilty yet." "But Anna's words are important." Mark decided to check the room carefully again. He asked everyone to stay seated. He walked around, looking at the carpet, the curtains, the chairs. He used a small flashlight from his pocket. Near the sofa where Lisa had sat, he found a small thread of red fabric stuck in the chair. He picked it up. He looked at Lisa's dress. It was red. "This thread is from your dress," Mark said. Lisa's face went pale. "That does not prove anything. Clothes can leave threads anywhere." Mark nodded slowly. "True, but together with the broken clasp, it means something happened near you." The room grew quiet again. Everyone looked at Lisa. Mark closed his notebook. "We are not finished. I will search the house. The necklace must be here. And when I find it, the truth will be clear." He asked 2 servants to guard the doors. Then he started his search. The night was long and the mystery was only beginning. Chapter 4. More clues appear. Detective Mark Brown walked slowly through the greenhouse. The guests stayed in the living room, watched by 2 servants. Nobody could leave. Mark began in the hallway. He looked under tables, behind curtains, and inside vases. He used his small flashlight. Dust, flowers, a few coins, but no necklace. He went to the dining room. The big table was still covered with plates and glasses. He searched under the tablecloth, between the chairs, even inside a bread basket. Nothing. Then he checked the floor carefully. At one corner, near the door to the kitchen, he saw a small shiny stone. He bent down and picked it up. It was a diamond, small but bright. Mark whispered to himself, "This must be from the necklace." He put the diamond in his pocket and wrote in his notebook, "Loose diamond, found near kitchen door." Next, he entered the kitchen. It was warm and smelled of food. Plates were stacked and water was still in the sink. Anna's apron lay folded on a chair. He opened cupboards, looked in drawers, checked under the sink. Nothing strange. But then he noticed footprints on the kitchen floor. The tiles were light and the prints were dark, made by dirty shoes. The prints went from the back door to the sink. Mark followed them. The back door was locked. He tried it. Yes, it was locked from the inside. No one could leave without a key. He thought, if the thief tried to run outside, they failed. The necklace must still be here. Mark returned to the living room. The guests looked tired. Some whispered, some just sat in silence. He showed the diamond. "I found this in the dining room. It is from the necklace." "That means the necklace broke and a piece fell near the kitchen." Everyone gasped. Mrs. Green cried, "My beautiful necklace." "Is it broken?" "That makes it worse." Mark said calmly, "Jewelry can be fixed. What matters is finding it. Somebody here knows where it is." He looked at Lisa. "You were near Mrs. Green. Your dress left a thread on the sofa. Now I find a diamond near the kitchen. Do you want to explain?" Lisa shook her head quickly. "I did not touch it. Maybe Anna dropped it when she went to the kitchen. She works there." Anna's eyes filled with tears. "That is not true. I never touched the necklace. I only carried plates." The room grew tense. Mr. Green shouted, "One of you is lying. My wife's necklace is worth thousands." Mark raised his hand. Silence. Shouting will not help. Mark decided to check Tom again. He called him forward. "Tom, you were near the garden door. Did you ever go to the dining room or kitchen?" Tom nodded slowly. "Yes, detective. I carried some boxes of wine to the dining room before the party, but not after dinner. I stayed near the door." Mark asked, "Do you have keys to the back door?" Tom looked surprised. "Yes, I have one key, but it is always in the shed. I did not use it tonight." Mark studied him. Tom's hands were still shaking. He could not tell if Tom was guilty or just scared. Then Mark spoke to Mrs. Green again. "Did you feel a hand on your neck when the necklace disappeared?" She shook her head. "No, I was laughing. Maybe someone was quick." Mark thought carefully. If the necklace was pulled, the thief was close. Lisa sat near her. But the diamond was found near the kitchen. Did the thief hide it while moving through the house? He needed more proof. Mark searched upstairs. The bedrooms were clean and quiet. He opened drawers, looked under beds, and checked wardrobes. No necklace. But in one guest room, he found a red handbag. It was half open. Inside were makeup, a scarf, and a small piece of gold chain. Mark held it up. It looked like part of the broken necklace clasp. He asked the servant, "Whose bag is this?" The servant answered, "It belongs to Miss Lisa Gray, sir." Mark frowned. Now he had a thread from her dress, a broken clasp near her chair, and a piece of chain in her bag. But still no full necklace. He returned downstairs. Everyone looked at him with hope and fear. Mark spoke slowly. "I found more clues. A piece of chain was in Lisa's bag." Lisa stood up. "What? That is not mine. Someone put it there." "Maybe," Mark said. "But it was there." The guests started to whisper loudly. Some looked angry at Lisa, others confused. Mark raised his voice. "I am not finished. The necklace is still in this house. I will search again. But remember, lies will not protect anyone. The truth always comes out. The night was late, and the case was deeper. The necklace was still missing, but the circle around Lisa was growing tighter." Chapter 5. Detective Mark puts the pieces together. Detective Mark Brown sat at the big dining table. In front of him was his small notebook. On the pages were many notes, names, times, and clues. The guests waited in the living room. The house was quiet except for the sound of the clock on the wall. Mark thought carefully. He spoke softly to himself. Clue 1. The necklace was pulled. I found the broken clasp on the floor near the sofa. Clue 2. A red thread was stuck in the chair. Lisa's dress is red. Clue 3. A diamond from the necklace was near the kitchen door. Clue 4. A piece of the chain was in Lisa's bag. Clue 5. The back door was locked, but Tom has a key. He stopped and rubbed his chin. But what is the truth? Did Lisa steal the necklace? Or is someone trying to make her look guilty? Mark went back to the living room. Everyone looked at him. I will ask more questions, he said. He turned to Anna first. Anna, you said Lisa left the kitchen before you. How much time passed between her leaving and you returning? Anna thought. Maybe 2 minutes. Not long. Mark nodded. And when you came back, you saw her sit near Mrs. Green? Yes, Anna said. She was very close. Mark looked at Lisa. Lisa, tell me again what happened when you sat near Mrs. Green. Lisa crossed her arms. I sat for 1 minute. We laughed. That is all. I did not touch her necklace. Mark asked quickly, then how did a piece of the chain get into your bag? Lisa's face went pale. I don't know. Someone put it there to blame me. Maybe Anna. Anna gasped. That is a lie. I never touched your bag. The room grew tense again. Mark turned to Tom. Tom, you have a key to the back door. Did you use it tonight? Tom shook his head. No, the key is in the shed. I did not touch it. Then why were there footprints near the back door? Tom's eyes opened wide. Footprints? I don't know. Maybe another servant used the door earlier, but not me. Mark looked at him for a long moment. Tom looked scared, but his fear seemed real. Mark decided to test Lisa. He asked the servant to bring her handbag. He opened it in front of everyone. Inside were the scarf, the makeup, and the piece of chain. Lisa, Mark said, this chain is from the necklace. If you are innocent, explain it. Lisa shook her head again and again. I can't. I don't know how it came inside. Maybe someone slipped it in when I was not looking. Mark thought it was possible. But then he remembered the diamond near the kitchen. If Lisa pulled the necklace, maybe she tried to hide it while walking. The diamond could have fallen then. Still, something did not fit. Why would she hide only a piece of chain in her bag and not the whole necklace? Mark decided to search the kitchen again. He asked Anna to join him because she worked there. Together they checked every corner. Mark opened a small box near the sink. Inside were cleaning tools, soap, sponges, cloth. Nothing. Then Anna pointed. Detective, look at the trash bin. Mark opened it. On top were food scraps, napkins, and a broken plate. But under the trash was something heavy wrapped in paper. He pulled it out and opened it. Inside was the diamond necklace, broken but complete. Anna gasped. You found it. Mark looked at her. Yes, and now I know what happened. He brought the necklace back to the living room. Everyone stood up in shock. Here it is, Mark said. The missing necklace. I found it in the kitchen trash bin. Mrs. Green cried with relief. Oh, thank God. She reached out, but Mark held it back. Not yet, he said. We must finish the case. He turned to Lisa. Lisa, you sat near Mrs. Green. You had the chance. The red thread and the clasp proved the necklace was pulled near you. But the necklace was hidden in the kitchen trash. Why would you do that? Lisa shook her head wildly. I didn't. I swear. Mark raised a finger. Wait, if you hid it, why leave a piece of chain in your own bag? That makes no sense. A thief is not so careless. The guests murmured. Mark turned to Anna. She stepped back shocked. Me? No. I didn't do it. Mark spoke calmly. Think, everyone. Only Anna worked in the kitchen. Only she touched the trash. She had time to hide the necklace under food. She also told me Lisa sat near Mrs. Green. That made suspicion fall on Lisa. And then a piece of chain appeared in Lisa's bag. Who could put it there? Someone who wanted to protect herself. Anna's face turned pale. She shook her head, but her hands trembled. Mark continued, Anna seemed honest. But maybe she was clever. She used her friendship with Lisa to make Lisa look guilty. Everyone stared at Anna. Finally, Anna cried, I needed money. My brother is sick. I thought if Lisa was blamed, nobody would look at me. I am sorry. She covered her face with her hands. The room was silent. The truth was finally out. Chapter 6. The Real Thief Revealed. The room was full of silence after Anna's words. Everyone stared at her. Mrs. Green held her husband's arm. Lisa's mouth was open. Tom looked down at the floor. Detective Mark Brown spoke slowly. Anna, you said you needed money for your brother. But why did you choose to steal tonight? Anna's eyes were wet with tears. She whispered, because the necklace was too beautiful, too expensive. I thought, if I sell it, I can pay for the doctor. I did not want to hurt anyone. I just wanted to save him. Mrs. Green gasped. So you pulled it from my neck? Anna nodded. Yes. When Lisa went back to the living room, I followed. I walked close to her, then sat near you. At that moment, when everyone was laughing, I pulled quickly. You did not feel it. Then I hid the necklace in my apron. I walked to the kitchen and put it in the trash. Later, when nobody looked, I planned to take it out and leave. Lisa shouted, But why put a piece of chain in my bag? You tried to blame me. Anna shook her head. I was afraid. I thought if the detective searched, he would find something on you. I slipped it into your bag when you were not looking. Lisa's face turned red with anger. You are my friend, Anna. How could you do this to me? Anna cried louder. I am sorry. I was desperate. Please forgive me. Detective Mark lifted his hand. Enough. The truth is clear. Anna stole the necklace. She tried to blame Lisa. The clues made sense only after we found the necklace in the kitchen. Mr. Green's voice was hard. She must go to jail. That necklace is worth more than a car. She cannot just say sorry. Mrs. Green, still shaking, said, But she did it for her brother. Maybe we can show mercy. Mark looked at them both. The law will decide. My job is to bring the truth. Anna will come with me to the station. Anna stood slowly. Her face was pale and her hands shook. She looked at Lisa. I know I hurt you. I was wrong. You were always kind to me, and I betrayed you. I don't ask for friendship again. I only ask that one day you understand." Lisa did not answer. She turned away, her eyes cold. Tom spoke softly. "I told you, Detective, poor workers are always suspected, but this time it was not me. Thank you for finding the truth." Mark gave a small nod. Fear makes people judge too fast. That is why we must always look at the facts, not only the faces. The servants opened the doors. The guests slowly left, whispering about the strange night. Some looked angry, others looked sad. Mrs. Green held her necklace, broken but still shining. Mark walked with Anna to the door. She did not fight. She only whispered, "Please tell my brother I am sorry." Mark answered, "The court will hear your story. Maybe they will show kindness." But stealing was the wrong path. Later that night at the police station, Anna gave her full confession. She told everything: how she planned to steal, how she hid the necklace, and how she put the chain in Lisa's bag. She cried the whole time. Mark wrote her words carefully. He felt heavy in his heart. He knew she was not evil. She was desperate. But still, a crime is a crime. The next morning, news spread through the town. Everyone talked about the party, the missing necklace, and the young woman who stole it. Some people said Anna was bad. Others said she was unlucky. Lisa visited the cafe where Anna used to work. The place felt empty. She remembered all the times they laughed together. She still felt angry, but also sad. Tom went back to the garden. He was quiet, but he felt lighter. At least people would not look at him with suspicion anymore. The Green family sent the necklace to a jeweler to repair. Mrs. Green said she would wear it again, not to show money, but to remember the lesson. Trust can be broken, even by kind faces. And Detective Mark Brown? He returned to his small office, his map, and his coffee. Another case was closed. But he knew many more would come. He wrote the last line in his notebook. "The truth is sometimes painful, but it is always better than a lie." Chapter 7. Epilogue. A week passed after the strange night at the greenhouse. Life in the small town slowly returned to normal. People went to work, children played in the streets, and the cafe opened again. But the story of the stolen necklace was still on everyone's lips. Anna was in jail, waiting for the court. Some people visited her brother and brought him food and medicine. They felt sorry for him. They knew Anna had stolen because she was afraid for his health. Others said, "A crime is still a crime. She must pay for it." Lisa walked through the town with mixed feelings. She was free, but her heart was heavy. She thought about Anna every day. Sometimes she felt angry, remembering the betrayal. Sometimes she felt sad, remembering their friendship. She whispered to herself, "Maybe one day I can forgive." Tom worked again in the garden of the greenhouse. The flowers grew, the trees stood tall. But Tom was different now. He held his head higher. People did not look at him with suspicion anymore. He felt respect for Detective Mark, who had believed in truth, not just fear. Mrs. Green wore her necklace again after it was repaired. The diamond sparkled, but she wore it less often. She told her friends, "Jewels are not as important as trust." "I learned that," Mr. Green agreed. He became quieter, less proud of his wealth. He understood money could not always protect happiness. And Detective Mark? He sat in his office, drinking coffee as usual. On his desk was his notebook. The last page of the case was closed, but his mind still thought about it. He felt proud to find the truth, but he also felt a little sad. He wrote a final note to himself. Not every thief is evil. Sometimes people do wrong because they are desperate. But justice must be fair. Mercy is important too. The law and the heart must walk together. Then he closed the book, folded his hands, and looked out the window. The town was quiet again. But Mark knew that somewhere another mystery was waiting. And when it came, he would be ready.